Hi, it's Yvonne Thrifty Rich. This is going to be a what sold lately video. Highlights of what sold lately on eBay, Poshmark, etc. So, let's start with some highlights. Let's see, we will put me down in the corner. Okay. Oh, I don't know where. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so my store and items for sale. My eBay store. Things that I currently have for sale. We will go down to sold listings. Okay, this just sold today. If you did watch the haul video, I talked about these Hawaiian camp shirts, why I buy them, how picky I am about them if they're not a name brand. But this one was made in USA. It's an okay brand, and I chose it because of the theme, and it was a good size. I really don't like to sell things where I'm not going to make at least a $20 profit. I break my rule all the time. I figured this was going to be quick and easy, and it was. It sold within a day and a half. So we're still, a lot of us in the reseller community, we're doing the Hawaiian camp shirt. So it's a little bit of a high competition area now. So I'm kind of super picky about what I get. The theme, the label, lots of things have to come together, or at least a couple of things from the list have to come together, like size, condition, theme, if it doesn't have a great name. And I'd like to get at least $20. So I went through some blankets, and this one wasn't in great shape, but there weren't a lot of Jar Jar Binks. If for some strange reason you don't know Star Wars, I don't know that Star Wars character. It was one of those tapestries, one of those throw type tapestries. So I think I took 15 on that. It wasn't in great shape, but again, I get nostalgic, and there's things I don't want to leave if I think they can sell pretty quickly, and this one did. We talked about that in a haul video. It was from a dealer. That is an authentic patch. This was from a dealer. So, if you watched the thrift with me, this sold while I was in the thrift store the other day making a thrift with me video, and I was explaining why I'm going through the fabrics, because this little tiny piece of fabric sold, I think within a day and a half. And it cha-chinged while I was over at the shoe department talking to you all with my thrift with me live at the thrift store. So I talked about why we're in the blankets and fabrics and sheets. So, and speaking of, this was a big hit on Instagram. It took about 2.5, 3 days to sell. I got a lot of watchers instantly on it. I let it go for $50. $18 shipping. The shipping fell a little bit under, so I made a little help with fees and shipping supplies, shipping and handling on that one. So that was nice. That was beautiful. And I talk about buying these. I paid $4.99 for that. I talk about buying these in hauls and thrift with me if they're in good condition. So on the sold video, I kind of like to keep it quick, because people who like sold videos, they just want to see the item and the price, and they can read the title or go look at the eBay listings, sold listings, if they want more information. But people who tend to like just sold videos, they kind of want it down and dirty, quick and easy, okay? But if you want more information, I talk more in depth when I'm out thrifting, and especially when I'm doing a haul video. I talk about it. What keywords can we use? Why I bought it? What to look for. Okay? Okay. A little fringe shawl. Scarves are so quick and easy to ship. That only took about 3 or 4 days after I listed it. Harley Davidson purse. This was only about that big. That took a while to sell. It's, that's an unusual theme for Harley Davidson, but it was bicycles. So someone finally, a real fan, finally bought that. I'm running through some new with tag dresses, junior size. I bought a bunch of junior size dresses from an outlet, and I paid like anywhere from $3 to $4. Some of them, wait a minute, anywhere from $175 to $275. And apparently junior size either, I don't know, it just doesn't sell as well as regular sizing. So I was going to do a reseller mystery box or a reseller box, but sometimes those don't go well. Like people, I don't know. I thought, well, surely new with tags, they'll, like, what can they say? But I knew these dresses weren't really selling that well, so I'm like, well, that would be the problem. They would love the merchandise. It's new with tags. It's wonderful. I was very careful when I picked these items out to have good quality fabric for that price range. And the label's a department store. But I thought, well, if I can't sell them for $25, $30, I definitely don't want a new person who struggles for inventory anyways, to do that. So it would be better just as a personal box. Anyways, I chose to do this instead, put them all on auction starting at $10 and $4.95 shipping. And that way at least get some activity in my store. I just chose to do it that way. I really wanted to do some giveaways, but I'm just afraid of misunderstandings and backlash to my reputation, which is in very good standing. I like to keep it that way. So there, that's what happened there. That's the information for those of you who are wondering, well, hey, weren't we going to do reseller boxes with us? That's what happened. This took a while to sew. I thought it was cool. Okay, I'm not into sports too much except for poker. I watch that on TV. I don't know. I'd never seen anything like it. It was a collab. It had sublimation. I don't know. It just took forever. So if you watch my other type of videos, you know that I'm expanding hard goods again, and I'm trying to take a deeper dive into the vintagey stuff. The vintagey vintage, I say, because I know vintage. I'm vintage. I know retro, but I tend to lean toward every time I try to talk about this, I struggle for words. I'm trying to lean toward, I lean toward more, okay, whatever. I don't know the real frilly vintagey stuff, okay, so I'm learning. So again, I followed some new people on YouTube that specialize in that and joined a couple of their groups. And the one I'm having the most fun with is Crazy Lamp Lady and her group. Awesome people. I've never seen such a large Facebook group with such delightful atmosphere. So, highly recommend it. So anyways, I'm expanding and I'm learning. Now, no, this isn't vintage, but I'm learning lots of other things and thinking outside my own box a little more. So, there it is. A gurgle pot. It's modern. It's based on an older concept. And this one sold a little bit more than that type does. It is actually by Gurgle Pot. And on Instagram I said why. It was because of the color. So I did get a few more dollars than average for that. The condition was perfect. Never been used. That helped. And the color was a little more rare when I looked at other listings because there's some competition. Now, Gurgle Pots. It depends on how epic they are. I saw some that sold for $200 and some. They were by different companies. They were older, true vintage, and more ornate. But anyways, when you see things like this fish thing, it's a gurgle pot. That didn't go well. This is a company from the UK. It's kind of like Trip and Lip Service. And it costs a lot to buy. That's probably $120 jacket in line with those other brands. But maybe it was the size, but that didn't go as well as I thought. I put it on my half price sale during 4th of July, and then it sold. So I did make a little bit of profit, probably cleared about $10, $12 after all fees and cost of goods. But not as good as Lip Service and Trip, or maybe just that particular style. Fuzzy Nation purse, I finally sold that. That got lots of love on social media and on eBay. Got lots of love, lots of watchers. Someone finally pulled the trigger and bought that. It's so cute. So cute. It's a purse. These dresses here, Ilana Catan, they are pricey to buy. Like, $200-$300 on some of her dresses, and resell's usually about $30 to $80. this one sold. She loved it, left great feedback, but I think I took a lot lower offer, definitely, than I anticipated. But still, overall, you won't find a lot. Overall, that's an okay brand for reselling. This is a really vintage Dooney Burke wallet. Red, white, and blue. $30. Wasn't sure about that. I just really wasn't sure. Dooney Burke's not really real big on the radar. It was in the 90s. It was all the rage for sure. But I didn't know if the vintage Dooney Burke was still on the radar. But someone loved that. The red, white, and blue probably helped significantly. Pendleton, this sold really quick when I finally listed it. And get this. Okay, it was new with tags, so that helped. Otherwise, I would have probably had to think about it because this was a souvenir that someone already had custom monogrammed and then they just didn't use it. Or either it was a sample piece. It said Gina doll on the big plush. But I did sell it for $40 plus the shipping, and it went overseas. I used the global shipping program, of course. I only had to get it to Kentucky. And then eBay took care of the rest. I already got good feedback. So, some vintagey stuff. This was actually Hannah's. That was Hannah's that she saved. She's got a box full of Lisa Frank and some of her... I always loved mermaids as a child, and so I kind of passed it on to her. I have like a 300-piece mermaid collection in boxes. It's in my mom's basement. That really got out of hand because, you know, when you collect something, then people buy you, you know, that's what they give you for gifts. And so it really got out of hand. But some of the pieces in it are quite valuable. Anyways, there you go. It was just a sealed comic book, set of 4, 1992. This is kind of a Barbie. It's a specialty Barbie type. It's a nurse. I don't know what else to say about that. It was real cheap. I thought someone's going to want that because of the theme. Maybe cleared about $12. About $12. This I couldn't believe. I almost just thought, oh, forget it. I bought a bunch of scarves. I loved going through the scarves. And I found a Hermes, and a couple other scarves, and then this one. Now, someone had them all together, and this color bled, and unfortunately, it also got on my Hermes. I've got that one listed for sale. It's getting some activity and some questions, but it's got some of this red color dye on it, and so it'll sell eventually, probably lower the price a little bit, but this did sell pretty quickly, and she loves it. I don't know how she's going to fix it. I was real honest in the listing, and I'm just like, this is what happened. Like, I'm going to let the new owner figure out, you know, what to do with it. I think the reason is if you look at this listing really closely, the hand painting of the dancers, Vienna, Paris, is really wonderful. And underneath it has, let's see if we can open this up in another, let me see if we can show this better. Let's get it there. Okay. I hope you guys are seeing this. See, isn't that pretty? So, someone saved this, thank goodness. I'm so proud of that. $30. And it was just in a bundle of some scarves that someone did not, you know, take proper care of. There's the Barbie. Vintage Barbie. So I got this from the hanging pack of toys and Barbies and little plush that are typical in the thrift store along the wall of the children's section in a lot of different thrift stores. And it was in with some newer Barbies, but I thought that looks old, and the reason I knew is because I do consume a lot of reseller content. As experienced as I am, I'm smart enough to know I consume a lot of reseller content. Sometimes I can only listen and then peek if I see something interesting, but I read a lot in the groups. I read a lot on Instagram, and Chad Pagel, Golden Finger Picker. If you're an OG, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I remembered a couple years ago him trying to figure out an older Barbie he had. Was it a 3? Was it a 4 or a 5? And I kind of vaguely remembered some of his experience in the back of my head. And so when I saw it, I went, So grabbed it, of course. It was in a bag, super cheap. Maybe her portion would have been like $1. And I was just honest. I couldn't figure it out. It's kind of hard between a 4 and a 5. If you're into Barbies, you know. But just keep this in mind. There are plenty of places online that will help you, but it's a little hard between these two numbers. Anyways, she was a 5 is what I think. So I lowered the price. People were telling me she's a 5. If she was a 4, that price would have been more valid, $150. But feedback from eBay people, potential buyers or just other sellers or collectors, Barbie collectors, was telling me that they think she's pretty much a 5. Still valuable, of course. So when I put it on half price sale, boom, she sold. Good feedback. She loves it. I take Dad to physical therapy, and one of his physical therapies also believes in pain management, cannabis for pain management. And so they had a lot of these magazines, and some of them were trade magazines. So trade magazines are kind of expensive to get, and you just don't buy them off the magazine rack, and they're usually not free unless you're registered business and kind of leaning that way. So I knew those had some value. So I picked up all the old ones, and after I kind of cruised through them to see if there was any kind of new business or marketing thing that, might be good for me. I don't know. I live in Colorado, so it's not really my thing, though. And I think big business is really going to take that over, of course, when there's that much money involved, and wipe out all the small people. So I bundled them all up, sold it, $30 for those free magazines. I could not ship the media mail, in case you're wondering what this is about. I couldn't ship it media mail because some of these magazines had too much advertising. So a lot of people aren't following the rules on media mail, and it just changed. And so we need to know the truth. I'm going to follow the rules. I don't want any hassles, because they are allowed to open media mail and check, is what I heard. Anyways, again, I like to try to keep these a little quicker, the solds. For the people that like solds, they kind of like it a little quicker. Anyways, media mail, make a mental note if you're not up to date on the new rules. Make your own decisions on how you want to handle that. Okay, and there's some controversy over VHS movies. Yes or no on the media mail. Some say yes, some say no. Nobody knows a true answer just yet. Anyways, moving on. Some shoes. The larger sizes, if they're a lower heel, because larger sizes tend to be for taller girls and sometimes want lower heels. Definitely a comfort shoe too. So I will pick up larger sizes for sure. Okay, so my deeper dive on vintage is working out lovely. It's been about 8 weeks. I've learned so many new names of glassware and whatnot. Hager is one of them. There's Hager. There's Royal Hager. If you're into it and don't know, you just make a mental note and figure that out yourself, just like I did. It's real easy. Anyways, I put this up. This was new old stock, if I'm using that term correctly, like we do in clothing, meaning it was true vintage, but it had never been used, and it still had the original price tag on it. So I finally listed that, and it sold. It actually sold to a member in Crazy Lamp Ladies group. That was so sweet. That is a great group on Facebook. They help you identify. You know how some Facebook groups are like, do your research, do your research. This group, she started as an identification group. Now, she did expand it because it blew up. It's like over 20,000 people. But it started that way, and everybody is open to it. Like, you are allowed, you will not get chastised and run out of town if you post something and just say, help me. You're not going to be considered lazy. It is full of resellers and just thrifters and vintage enthusiasts. Okay, it's not just resellers. Maybe that's why it's such a more gentle, drama-free, typically 99.9% drama-free. You know, it can never be 100%. Whenever you have more than 2 people in a room, there's potential for drama. Come on now. Heck, some of us, we can be alone and still have drama. Anyways, that was lovely. So I'm learning a lot. And if you're watching my new Thrift With Me videos, you see that besides clothing, I've added going through the glassware and the hard goods a little more thoroughly. Okay, where did we leave off? Duluth trading, free people. Okay, not that much money there. I can't remember where we left off last time. Did we talk about these little vintage, little tiny tiki shot glasses from Japan? So I knew there was something special. I took 30. They're like this big. Super cute. They loved them. Some St. John, Yves Saint Laurent. Oh my gosh. This. I don't think we talked about this. June 24th? No. I got this from Thrift to Travel, Jen. If you don't know, she's relatively new to the YouTube scene. She's doing well. She will tell us all. She specializes in this retail arbitrage niche of discontinued items. And I don't know why, but she'll share with us. It's so awesome. So I follow her on Instagram and on YouTube, Jen, Thrift to Travel. And now someone else on Instagram has also picked up that baton and is trying to keep everything listed in a Instagram thing so that we can remember. Anyways, leave a comment down below if you want more information. I'm not going to ramble on about that. But she talked about these in a YouTube real quick. It was late at night and I went, wait, I bought like 6 of those off of a clearance rack at King Soopers grocery store. I've been using them. I had 2 full bottles left and a half bottle. So I immediately grabbed my 2 full bottles, double checked I was right, that she was right and I was right about her being right. So listed them immediately that night and they sold quickly. I did take a best offer of 105 because I appreciate what Jen does, but it's a give and take, bittersweet love-hate thing that she does. Because also that causes a lot of us to go look for them and the market could get flooded. So I had to evaluate, okay, what was Jen, did Jen sell her stuff first before she told us, which sometimes she does. I do not blame her. I do not blame her. Or is her stuff still for sale? What are the odds? I think a lot of people are going to find these. It was a year ago for me when I found them at King Soopers. So I thought, I don't know. I evaluated. I decided, I could probably wait and get full price, maybe even more. I just decided to take the money and run, just do a hit and run. I took 105. Hey, they were like, I don't know, 99 cents a piece. But that's kind of how I tried to evaluate the situation. I might have been wrong, but it doesn't matter. There was still plenty of profit in that. Okay, again, I learned these from Dept, Pinching Pesos, the host of the Reseller Stew Show. It's been running for about 3 years. I've been on it for 2. And we will probably come back. It's on her channel, Pinching Pesos, Double Bubble on Instagram. We'll probably come back after everyone's kids go back to school. It's predominantly women with school-age children. Tanya, Thrifty Treasures, Lucy, Reseller Mom, Stephanie, Steve and Steph are real busy, Resell Killers. Stephanie will pop in sometime. So, and a few other girls in and out as we can. So, I think we'll be coming back. But she specializes she likes the electronics, like the kitchen electronics and gadgets. And she'll part things out. She does a great job at parting things out, sometimes getting more money selling the individual parts than the whole item. Anyways, I learned this from her about a year and a half ago. And so whenever I see something like these Cafe Cocos or Cafe Lotta machines or whatever, I'll pick them up. And that one sold. I took a best offer of $60. I paid $7.99. It was still new. I dropped it off at the post office, went to the thrift store, and bam, there was another one. So I have this exact same one up. I recycled the listing, but it's the exact same thing, just a different one. These kind of items tend to show up at the thrift store, maybe open box, but still new or in great condition because people get them as gifts, like wedding gifts or whatnot, but they don't really use these kind of fun gadgets. Okay, let's see. A nice purse, nice leather gold purse, a little bit less for that. A Lily Pulitzer pink polka dot dress. Okay, and this one, I couldn't send this media mail either. It had a lot of Coca-Cola advertisement in it. Someone bought this. It was a vintage media guide book. It had all the sports, the competitors, and their stats for things of that sport. So That one, I wasn't sure, but yeah, that sold. And it was in the magazine rack. It's a little bit thicker though, okay? A little bit thicker and heavier than a typical magazine, and about 3 times the size, like a trade book, like a trade magazine. So it's a little heavier, but it was like $1.99 or something from the magazine rack. Colorado medical marijuana business hat. Someone bought it. I wasn't sure. Someone bought it. It was still nice and new. Incidentals. Picking up some books now and then. I think we talked about the frogs. You know, I think this is where we left off last time, right? These frogs. Okay, it was about this big, new, shiny, glossy, and heavy. Quality, so I knew to pick it up. So, Kitty's Critters. It's more than just frogs. But you might want to look that up on Sold, and you'll see some of her, the way she operates, how to tell her art, and the different things that she does. That's good return on investment. It was a cute little piece, definitely. Iron Fisher is always a winner. I did sell this. I did sell that. I didn't know. There was even a thing called fan edits. This has uncut raw footage from the taping of the Highlander and some notes. And then you can make your own ending. And you think you can even submit it if you want to. I didn't know there was such a thing, but it's not just that movie. Fan edits. Who knew? Big Eye Cat. These were oversized vintage cards. 2 of them. I think they were 99 cents a piece. Who knew? Another book. I'm not real big on books, but I will look for the coffee table books and any kind of like interesting textbook that's still current. I think this is where, yeah, because I know we talked about the boob and this beautiful piece, right? Okay. Those are some of the highlights. I think we talked about this already last time. So those are some of the highlights. And a couple things on Poshmark. If you want to see that. This is a good brand. I don't know how to say it. Familare. They have a 70s vibe, a 60s, 70s vibe. And this is a popular shoe heel. They do that curvy, like earth shoe heel in lower and in the taller. So $31 for those. And some Kate Spade. These were just tossed in a bin with the other flip-flops that they sell real cheap. So these didn't cost more than $3, I don't think. I'm pretty sure. But they were still new. So $30. They went really quickly. The Mystic. Kate Spade stuff still selling. All right, let's back out of some of this. And put me back there. Okay, you guys. So I'm going to spend the day listing some things because I've already done a couple thrift with me. So I'm going to list the items. You see that? Hashtag save the smileys. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to talk about that. That's not for sale. That's mine. Hubby's home. It's so hot out today, so I'm just going to stay in and list and stuff. But hubby's already home. It's Friday. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. And I will see you later on one of your videos. Bye for now.